Hey everybody, it's Ken McElroy here. I'm here with Bobby Bull. Hey Bobby.
Hey.
So Bobby is our acquisition guys, and I know a lot of you wanted us to bring, how do you guys find deals, and how do you source deals, and how are you finding so many deals, and how are you getting all these investors in your deals, and this is a primary reason here. This is Bobby. So Bobby has years and years and years of experience in acquisitions. If you don't know about him, you can also hear about him on our other podcast that is released about what does an acquisition person do? How do we find value adds? But for this one, we're going to talk about buying during the pandemic. Right, Bobby?
Yes.
It's not easy. For lots of reasons, guys. Obviously, employment drives real estate. That's number one. That's a problem. Business relocations drive real estate. Lenders are afraid of defaulting real estate. We've got
travel.
Travel.
Travel restrictions.
The government is funding everything right now.
Touring deals.
From people to businesses. It's super confusing. So let's talk, Bobby, about some of the things. Let's touch on the virus and the pandemic and how it's affecting us acquiring property. What do you see? What do you see going on?
I see that shelves are pretty much bare. Not much product on the market.
Why?
There's more off-market deals occurring. Because they don't want to be shopped, because owners don't want their properties to be shopped as much during the pandemic. I'm also seeing that they don't want to go through the dog and pony show with a lot of brokers and everybody all over their properties and disturbing their tenants.
Because they're having a hell of a time keeping them anyway.
Right. And then next year, I think there's going to be more properties that come on the market. But it's harder to find the exchange property, people.
Yeah, they're trying to save tax, so they want to roll it into something,
or
and they can't find something else.
Or a capital gains tax issue, or people are saying, I don't want to trade my dog for your cat. And
so that's awesome. So, but let's talk about that, because I read a great article that said it was perfect. It said there's a big disconnect between what the seller thinks it's worth and what the buyer thinks it's worth. And that's actually the real issue here, I think, is, right? You got a seller bought it for whatever they bought it for, and it is what it is. But the numbers are down in most cases. Maybe not industrial, but in most real estate, it's down, except for maybe single family in a small little market where it's going like this. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about investing for the long term here.
Right.
So why is there such a disconnect between what the seller thinks it's worth and what the buyer thinks it's worth?
You've got the standoff between the buyer and the seller because of cap rates. Cap rates are really low right now. Interest rates are really low. And I think that, these sellers, the owners of properties, just have a price in their mind that they have it in their mind.
It's definitely more than they paid.
It's more than they paid. And that's
not necessarily right.
Yeah. So,
right.
And, if you ask them, well, comparing apples to apples, well, your property is really worth this, but, they'll want a premium on that. So, that's where the value add comes into play. What, if we buy it, could we raise the rents, and what would our return be? So,
right. And I think this is, I saw this in 08. Obviously, if you bought something in 07 and you paid a lot of money for it, you do not want to sell it for less than you bought it for, because you have a bank, you have the debt, you have the equity, if either it's yours or somebody else's, you have all that stuff as things unwind, right? And so there's kind of a standoff right now, which is also part of the reason why that there's not a lot of listings, right? So let's talk about the next thing on the lender side, because we're starting to see this. So as we're getting loan quotes, on our Dallas deal that we just did last week, there was a COVID line item. It said COVID reserve. So what else are you seeing? Basically what that means is they don't know, but we're going to hold all this extra cash over here in case there's an occupancy slip or we missed something in our underwriting. I've never seen anything like it, right?
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
So it's all new.
And lenders are afraid right now, right? I mean, what are you seeing on that side?
Yeah, their risk is, are we going to get paid back? And, what if it gets worse? So there are a lot of lenders that are leery of lending money right now. And, luckily Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac seem to be the go-to lenders
at the moment.
At the moment.
Right. It's a tough time for lenders, guys, because they have what's called a watch list, right? So let's say you own a property and you got a loan from a bank and you are in forbearance. You are on their watch list, right? And that's not good, because if they have a number of people on that watch list, then they're afraid that they're even going to be able to, they're going to potentially have to foreclose. They're going to probably have to take that property back. They might have to sell it for less. They might have to write down their loan. So lenders are freaking out right now in a lot of ways, right? But there's not a lot of transparency out right now. There's not a lot of data out there. But all my buddies are like, oh, my hotel is 20% occupied, or my retail center is collecting 20%, or you walk through the malls, you could shoot a gun through there and not hit anybody.
Right.
There's nobody.
The lockdowns have really taken a major negative effect on all the hotels and retail and
I tell you what, I went to dinner the other night at Modern over there, and I parked right next to California Pizza Kitchen. Gone.
Right.
I was like, wow, these things are starting to show up. I don't know if you guys are seeing these. These are real people, real jobs, real businesses, real equity, real people paying rent, real people paying mortgages, real people paying their car payments. Gone. Right. And all that's starting to trickle through. And these lenders, I think some of them are freaking out. Right.
Right.
Because there's somebody that owns that building. And guess what's not paying anymore? California Pizza Kitchen. As an example, not to pick on them, but it's true. And you're starting to see that all over the place. That's also going to create some opportunities, because there are people that own those centers. There are people that own those buildings. And if they're going to be vacant, then there's going to be an opportunity, I think, at least on a number of levels. But the lenders, they're going to take some of these back. Right. There's going to be some redevelopment and some things like that.
But not only that, but all the costs associated with the pandemic, with, safety and the PPE and everything else, just on the apartment buildings now,
right.
The sanitizer and, making people feel safe.
Yes.
That's, that just adds to the costs.
Right. So I know one of the things that we look at a lot is loss to lease. So basically loss to lease is this: you got your actual rent and you have the market rent. The difference between those two is loss to lease. And that's growing right now, right? We're starting to see loss to lease increasing. And what that really means is that rents are going down or flat. That's what that means, or the market rents. And so all of that, the lenders are looking at these loss to lease numbers and they're concerned, right?
Right.
And so what that does is that hurts you on the loan, because if your income's down, then what they're going to lend you also goes down, and that your leverage goes down and your equity goes up. And if the seller is saying, but I'm not changing my price, then there's a bigger disconnect. Then that means there's more equity and less debt, right?
Yeah. And what we're seeing, on most of these deals right now is the sellers want to take our profits or want to take all the juice from our deals. So, if they're trying to gain all the upside, and that's a hard, that's a hard part for us is
and
saying
they will come to,
we're going to do the work.
Yeah.
Why should you get all the profits?
Right.
Or
and there's only one person in that chain that will convince them, and that's their bank,
right?
When they can't pay, right? So let's talk a little about something else. Let's talk about the eviction moratoriums, where are we looking at property and because the rent control, eviction moratoriums, local laws, all that has a massive difference, and it can mean very different outcome, for us, right?
Right.
So where are we looking? Where are we not looking?
So Arizona, Texas, Southern Cal, Oregon, Washington, North Carolina, Atlanta, Kansas City, basically all the growth markets, Nashville, strong employment numbers is what we're looking for, and good stories.
Yeah. And
again, long-term owners.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, it's hard enough to find a real estate deal. You want to buy it where people are moving to and where they're going and where these employment numbers are strong. And those are areas that are currently doing pretty well.
Right. That's where we want to be.
Yeah. And that can change, by the way.
Yeah.
So just pay attention. You don't want to be left. You don't want to be buying something based on a set of numbers, and you want to stay fluid on all of that. So let's talk about what some of the changes some of the banks are doing on the multifamily. Are you seeing anything else?
Well, the interest only loans, basically a lot of bridge money out there right now.
So let's explain what bridge money is, because bridge money is basically hard money, right? So you go to a bank, you try to get a loan, and you can't get enough loan. And you can't raise the equity, or it's too much equity. So you go to what's called a bridge loan or a bridge lender, right? So you'd be paying 8, 10, 12% for that money, right? So you might have a 4 or 5% first, maybe even a 3 if you're lucky, but your second could be 8, 10, 12%. So your blended cost of capital is actually quite a bit higher. And that's a real cost to the deal, and it might kill the deal, right? There's a lot of bridge lenders out there, a lot of bridge money coming.
Well, and then, part of the attractiveness to that is that these bridge lenders are funding the upside or the renovations to the buildings. So that's why, a lot of buyers are using the bridge loans. But you remember in 07, 08, 09, that's where a lot of people got caught.
Yes.
Is because over leverage, and they were receiving this money, betting on higher rents. The value add that never showed up.
Right. So you get your loan, then you get the bridge money, which is typically the cash infusion into the project. And all of that is supposed to create higher value. And that's actually still at risk a bit, right? With all this unemployment, all this stuff happening, we were already dealing with some affordability issues on apartments, and especially now as people are unemployed, you got to wonder whether or not a lot of these places are still going to get that value add.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've seen interest rates tick up here in the past month, a month and a half, which is, will further elongate the standoff between a buyer and a seller, because the seller is going to want a lower cap rate, and my interest rate is going to be higher. Right. So the spread it's not as wide as it used to be.
Hopefully this doesn't surprise you, but when interest rates go up, and they have, not a lot, but a little bit, the price should go down, because you're going to pay more for the loan and your cash flow is going to go down. So but the seller, again, is a disconnect. They don't care. If you own something that's $20 million and it was $20 million 6 months ago and the interest rates go up, you still think it's $20 million, right? You're not going to adjust. You want the buyer to adjust. The buyer's not going to adjust because they have lower cash flow, right?
Yeah. And that was one of the issues that, we found in Houston and Texas, is that real estate taxes were moving up, and these sellers wanted a high price for their properties, and it was a double whammy, because you also had the oil crash. So oil was taking a hit, and then you had the real estate taxes were going up, sometimes doubled or tripled. So it impacted a lot of deals.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about this. You guys really need to be careful. a lot of these cities that have people rolling out, that they're going to go after the low-hanging fruit, which is the real estate tax. I believe real estate taxes are going to really be a big thing, that because these cities, these towns, these states, they have to fund the things that real estate taxes fund, and they're going to go after the real estate.
Yeah, schools, municipalities, fire departments.
All that money comes through property taxes, and as people leave and they move, that income gets a massive hit. Also on sales tax and all the other things as you live somewhere. So these are all the things that you need to look at. Bobby, as always, thank you, brother.
Thank you, Ken.
I appreciate it. You're the man.
Thank you.
Awesome.